All right, well, this is episode 4 of Good versus Evil. We're playing on Dark Islands. It's Allied, me, Dad, against one hard, and we decided to try out one brutal.
Yeah, getting bold.
We are.
Yeah,
We're
so I'm
trying.
going to do my usual thing. We're going to upgrade the strategy this time. And this time I'm going to get a one or two trebuchets out really quickly with a hero. And together with your hero, I think we're going to try to take out one of his, or maybe the hard or the brutal, take one of them out as quickly as possible. Last time, we played, we just spent way too much time before we attacked.
Yeah, I was also playing as elves, so I think that kind of delayed my me joining the battle like quite a bit because I was building and upgrading so much.
Yeah.
But we're also like very close, and we're a very confined space on this map. You can see we're almost on top of each other. There's very little room to build. You kind of have to place your farm strategically. You can build up ships. I mean, you can see I just captured this and I ordered a carrier, but my plan was to kind of, send in one army at the front and kind of drop off some units at the back. But I ended up kind of scratching that idea.
Yeah, so like you say, we are very close, but the cool thing is that because of the way it bottlenecks in the middle, it makes defending your territory actually really easy. You can probably put 2 or 3 towers and block the whole entrance. So it makes it means that attacking quickly is really, really paramount when you're this close to each other.
I feel like we used to spend, in the earlier days of the game when we used to play, we would build a lot of towers. We'd even build walls sometimes. And I've found that investing in defenses just isn't worth it, especially if you're playing goblins. They can scale the walls, or if you're, if he's got some mountain trolls or something, they can take out those towers and those walls so fast that it's honestly just a waste of money. You can rather just put that money into upgrades and building more units.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think maybe the bigger the map or the more brutals you're facing, the more enemies you're facing, the more defenses you have to build up before you attack. I think in this particular case, we have a shot at winning this only because we're going to move really quickly. This is kind of shock and awe strategy.
Yeah, so we've got our heroes just kind of defending there. I'm trying to build up my horses. I'm still stuck on this strategy because I want it to work. I have a love-hate relationship with the horses. I mean, I think the knights are pretty effective earlier on, but my favorite is to actually build up Rohirrim because you can get them fire arrows, and it's kind of like a quick way to get archers across the map.
Yeah.
So I think that's also a good combination. It works very well in tandem with your trebuchets because I can protect them and I can move them around very quickly. So if they're at one side of the map and then you decide to go, start attacking, I can get them over to you much faster than just walking.
Yeah, no, that's right. So I want to put up a couple of these towers, get some defense, got a huge concentrated war. And by the way, that's another good strategy is build a farm just outside of your base, gives him something to go and attack.
Yeah.
And then what you do is you kind of set him up like an ambush. So while he's attacking your farm, you've got towers nearby that can take him out. So I think that is worth losing a farm. So I've got a couple of trebuchets now, trying to figure out an opportunity to go in. So again, we find these situations where you're kind of withdrawing. So I see you've moved forward.
Yeah,
So
kind of defended your base a little bit, trying to move to the middle.
Yeah, I'm sending my hero out to come join you there in the middle. So, he hasn't done very well. He hasn't ranked up. How's your guy doing?
Yeah, at level 2. I'm not using my archer this round. I'm using a Gondor soldier that I made. Just kind of experimenting with different custom heroes. But I just set all my units to defensive stance now that we're kind of trying to move up in the map and hold our position. And I found that's helpful, especially if you're trying to defend certain units, in this case, the trebuchets. Because if some units are passing by, not necessarily attacking your own soldiers, then your defensive soldiers won't run out and try and start attacking. They'll just hold their ground unless they're up, straight up being attacked.
Do you find that when you put them in defensive posture that they're actually stronger and more effective?
They are. The armor increases by a good deal, and if you go to advanced, their damage increases, but their armor decreases.
Yeah, you see, this is a situation where my trebuchets are being undisciplined and you're losing men as a result. So we have to really be so careful, because especially new trebuchets, you can get so busy you forget to take the auto acquire off. So that's one of the things.
Yeah, a lot of communication with us back and forth to make sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah, but it still does, even when we try for it not to.
Yeah.
And also sometimes when your posture on those horses are set to be attacking, they go ahead even when you've told them not to.
Right.
So, it takes a few seconds for them to respond to your commands, and by then the trebuchet could have knocked them. So,
well, now that I've got forge blades and I'm trying to get my heavy armor upgraded, I can start to kind of, hold my ground and not lose soldiers quite as fast. But again, he's got goblins, and you can see the poison is taking out some of my units. I've still got my healing power up, so I can save that. But we like to coordinate with how we use our healing. It's not always just about what works best for you in the moment, especially when you're allied, because your other hero may need it. If your hero's not being attacked, theirs might be. So it's just
now while you're keeping him busy there, I'm going to see if I can sneak around the back end here. See if I can find his fortress, because that definitely sets him back dramatically. But sometimes we have to just stop in on the way there. Get there you go. I found his fortress. Usually I just kind of go for it, even though it's probably not the smartest. But I'm trying to get to Firestones next, so I'm going to try and order those.
So going back to building up a cavalry, I also chose this hero, the Gondor Knight, because I can put him on a horse, so I've got a mount ability. And I kind of regret putting that as a level 3 power up, because I could have used that spear or the invincibility before that. And so I'll probably end up changing that. But it's very helpful to get him on a horse if you're building up a cavalry, because you can move together quickly.
Yeah, I just took out one of his... I took out his fortress, but he's immediately rebuilding it. So I'm taking it out again a second time. So that makes it a lot harder, because now he has to expend a lot of money to pay for another. If I can kill the builder, of course, that's always best. But...
yeah, once we get enough momentum and you've got 2 or 3 trebuchets upgraded to level 3, 4, whatever, it really does damage. I mean, I very rarely take out buildings at that point. Once we kind of peak, you are the one taking out most of the buildings, and it's actually really helpful to have designated tasks.
Yeah,
like if I'm the one always killing foot soldiers, it's easy for me to kind of build a strategy and know okay, so in that case my biggest focus is building upgraded weapons and armor, because I need to last with those soldiers. Whereas with you, you're just trying to upgrade and take out buildings. So
well, you kind of do double duty here, because you've got to take out all those foot soldiers and deal with all these trebuchets and whatever else he's throwing at us, and at the same time you've got to protect my guys. So.
Yeah, well, in this case, I mean, you can see a ship right there. It's a warship, so he's actually taking out my soldier, which is so frustrating. I mean, I can't actually get to him. You see, I set my hero over here to try and take it out, but then he just moves slightly further away, and there's nothing I can do. So again, that's a case where having just foot soldiers or swordsmen isn't good, because I don't have any range in that case.
Yeah, no, I can see it. Well, we've almost wiped out his base, so I'm expecting him to give in here any minute. And you're doing a great job defending those trebuchets. So.
And I felt like with this map being so small, I really struggled to get resources. With you, you're just building a couple of trebuchets and maybe a hero or some soldiers. But I was trying to upgrade with all my forge upgrades, and also get Rohirrim. But I really struggle with resources, because you can only build so many farms.
Yeah, really 4, sometimes 5. But by the way, so we've taken out the brutal, which is really great. So now we just got the hard left. So we've got to
just healed everyone up.
We're gonna just heal everybody up, get everybody ready,
regroup
straight. And now, of course, finally, I've got Firestones, which would be more helpful earlier. But anyway, again, because the map's small, the game happens fast, which means you don't have a lot of time to build up resources. You just don't have that kind of time.
Now, the map actually does have some little islands on the outskirts, on the border.
Yeah,
and I just didn't think it was worth investing with a ship, get a builder over there, because you can probably only place one farm. So you have to kind of do some cost-benefit analysis at the beginning to see if it's worth it. I mean, I think a farm or two may have been helpful, but I don't know if it would have been worth kind of refocusing, especially when you only have 2 builders. You don't want to spread your resources that thin.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I see you're taking out that
cave troll. Yeah, just
cave troll there. You've taken him out. So I've always got to be careful not to get ahead of you or ahead of any protection. So there I go. I think I'm heading out now to try to take out. I'm gonna start to pitch myself at a position where you can still protect me, and we can go from there. Okay, so, wow. Those trolls are effective.
You took him out. So you took that building out so fast, especially when they all launch and volley together.
Yeah.
And look at this fortress go
now
down.
Watch this fortress. So there we go. One hit on the
It's already
fortress.
half damaged.
It's half damaged, exactly. So you have to be. Technically, you shouldn't have your men there.
Yeah, this is something that we've been better at coordinating.
2 hits and it's out. Yeah, we got better at this. You didn't actually lose a lot there. I think you may have responded in time.
Well, when he doesn't have any soldiers, I might as well just start taking out buildings, a farm or two. But that I really do leave that to you because, as you can see, it goes way faster.
Yeah.
But I actually didn't get many power-ups. I don't think you did either because all I got was basically Tom Bombadil and no earthquake or anything. Yeah, that's
victorious.
a wrap.
Yeah, I know. It was great.
So that's easy. That's actually, I think, one of our first successful brutal games.
Yeah. We didn't bleed
sadly,
all the time.
yeah. So we actually came pretty close in the stats.
Yeah.
We can see here KD spread. Look at your unit kill death ratio. You had 178.
Yeah. Well, that's because I didn't get attacked.
Yeah.
So I didn't. If you don't die much, then you're dividing by a very small number, and so you've got this huge, kill death ratio.
Exactly.
So it looks artificially high.
Similar max income and resources gathered. It's usually pretty similar anyway.
When you're playing team, you can't really take credit for your individual, because you really are working together. So.
Well, that's episode 4 of Good versus Evil.